All right. So, in the words of Lao Tzu, this is number 40 in the Tao. Returning is the motion of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. The 10,000 things arise from being, and being arises from not being. That's it. That's it. So, as you close your eyes, think about what it feels like to yield into flow. Maybe you've been resisting something that's happening, or kind of at odds, kind of at a crossroads. And what might it feel like to surrender yourself to the river? The beauty. Think about the last time you sat by a river's edge, no matter what the river was, a little tiny trickle or a big roaring creek or a big slow moving stream. Whatever the body of water was that was moving, can you kind of just sense what it feels like to flow, to not return in the sense of returning back to the same place again, but to return home to presence over and over in the moment by moment awareness. And out of this presence of yielding and returning into the flow, we arise. Sometimes for me, when I feel like I'm stuck at something, a thought process that won't change, or a fear that won't abate, or an anxiety that just wants to grab on, some of the best visuals have felt is to just imagine myself in a warm stream where the water is just flowing over me and I'm flowing too, obstacle free. So imagine yourself, maybe that is helpful to you too. What does it feel like to not grab on to the branches or to the rocks, but to just allow yourself to go? And now turn this image of the stream into your breath and sense into, feel into the way your breath also is this harmonizing force of flow. And this is our tool. When you have a sense of holding, gripping, we can always return to our breath. We can always just close our eyes and sense into our breathing and feel the release of the exhale, to allow our bodies and our minds to follow the release of the exhale, just like we would follow the water in the stream. So, whatever you're holding on to, see if you can allow those two mediums, water and air, to assist you. On your next breath in, feel the fullness, this big, huge breath that you can invite in, make lots of space. And as your exhale rises, a fullness to it. Let the exhale fully out. See if you can melt muscles, melt anything that can be melted on that exhale in your body. Let's do this a couple more times. A big cleansing breath, a full exhale. Will you allow whatever it is you're gripping, holding, to release? And if you're not sure what you're gripping and holding, try your diaphragm. Start there. See what it feels like to relax. And just notice if a few cleansing breaths where you're intentionally letting go of some of your tension is helping you in some small way. With this bright newness that comes when you let something go, bring your palms together. Let's offer our intention for the day. How do you want to show up today with yourself, in your mind, with others, in your world? Release the hands and let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out and lengthen on your back, let's have a moment of just cherishing the beginning of our yoga practice. And even in this position, can you feel yourself coming into a state of surrender? Before we have a big stretch, can you let your body drop into the earth and feel that sense of yielding? You know, resting unconsciously is a very different experience than resting consciously. So notice your limbs and the weight of them and what you can drop. And then when you're ready, let's stretch and move. So reaching the right side and reaching the left side and just coming home into some openness in your ribs and in your body. Maybe letting one heel stretch a little longer, the other heel stretch a little longer, just coming into this nice opening in your sides. And then draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a little hug, rocking a little bit, swaying if it feels nice. A circle of the knees, kind of rolling in one direction. Rolling in another direction. Just feeling a nice ease across your sacrum, across your pelvis, your hips. Let's open up the knees away and back in toward the middle. And just taking stock. And of course, the way I warm up may not be the way your body wants to warm up. So feel free to alter and change anything we're doing so that it suits you. Your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg long on the ground and roll around in your ankles. Wiggle through your toes. Feel into that nice movement of your feet, especially if you have shoes on. Just give a little moment of freedom. A good squeeze of the knee. And then change. Let's take the other side. Left knee into your chest, right leg long. Feel free to wiggle around in your toes. Feel a heaviness in your head. Relax your shoulders. Feel the fullness of your breath. All right, and then stretch your limbs wide. Open your body out. Reach into space. Draw your knees into your chest and feel a little snug hug, maybe picking your head up. One more time, feeling that big open space across your body. And then your exhale, compressing in. All right, relax your head down, arms out to the sides, and let's rock our knees left and right, just windshield wipering. Feeling a little twisting start in our body, and you can take this as deep into the twisting process as you'd like to go. And then we're going to take a full twist here. So put your feet down, lift your hips up, scoot them over to the right, bring your knees up, drop them to the left. And take that full deep breath in and a complete exhale again. What can you unwind as you twist the spine here? Can you kind of bring out and release? Knees back up. Let's scoot the hips over to the other side. Drop your knees down, twisting here. Big breath. Full exhale. Let's go ahead and find our way over onto our side and come up onto your hands and your knees. And let's start finding our yielding. Okay, so if we remember that part of kind of moving into the flow and letting go of things that might be holding us back from present moment, yielding is a big part of this. So Let's find our yield. So drop your weight into your right hand and your right knee, and then push off and feel your weight travel over to your left hand and your left knee. And just notice that connection with the earth and then the release of that connection as you move over to the other side. Try to unlock your shoulders and your elbows and your hips so that you can feel the weight bearing and that cushioning of when you drop weight into the earth and it's received through your joints. And being on all fours, let's see if we can yield into each limb at one time. So maybe start with your right hand and then move over to the left hand and over to the left hip, left knee, and then over to the right knee. And just kind of do a little circle in your weight bearing. And be very mindful that we're not locking our hips, our elbows, and our shoulders. See if you can receive as you weight bear a little bit more directly into each of your 4 points. You can go the other direction. What does it feel like to feel weight and then to release weight, to yield and to push? Yield and push. And then find your way into all 4 corners evenly of your body, your hands and your knees. And let's start to move through some cat cows here, arching and rounding. Sometimes we do things so unconsciously that we forget that we have this very subtle awareness available to us at any moment. I think it's very normal for us to kind of live in the gross instead of the subtle, where, we don't have always the headspace to be thinking about how our bodies feel all the time. But the more we give an opportunity for body awareness, the more present we can become. Right, so feel free to wag the tail or circle the body. Do any kind of movement in the spine that is a really nice full feeling in your body. And then drop back towards child's pose and settle your hips down toward the heels and walk the hands forward and see if you can maybe a little bit of rocking into one leg and the other, one hip and then the other. Just feel your weight here, rocking a little bit from one side to the other. And then when you're ready to settle down into your child's pose and see if you can feel the fullness of this posture. Many times our child's poses are just recovery poses or a transition pose. What if you just allowed this pose to be an apex pose? Like this is what we've been striving for, is this pose. Just feel what's here. Breathe along the back of your body. Let's walk the hands over to one side or the other so you feel that beautiful stretch through your side. Connect with the ground, feeling your hand root, feeling your hip root, and lengthen between those 2 points. How's that big full inhale and the big full exhale now? And over to the other side, feel the grounding, feel the opening, feel the yielding. Feel your breathing. Back up on tall fours, wag your tail a little bit again. And then let's find dog pose. So curl your toes under and feel yourself lift up. Okay, and we'll pedal here. You can drop one heel, drop the other heel. Just enjoy that opening of the calves and the Achilles. Opening up the full back leg if you're able to. How's your breath? And once you get your legs kind of with the program, see if you can turn your attention toward your hands. Notice where the weight likes to live in your hands. See if you can find the grounding through the 4 corners of your hands. Place a little more weight, a little more yielding in where you tend to not. So find that place for your body.
Yield all 4 points of your hands. Feel the ground sink in and then push off and feel the reach through your body. So the yield and the push and the reach. Hold your breath. You feel your breath full and deep on your inhale, full on your exhale. You have a sense of the 4 points of your body touching the ground. Your hands and your feet all can yield and push off to feel the reach and length in your body. Okay. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. You can grab some blocks if you like to use blocks for half lifts. All right, so bend your knees as much as you need to. Let your head dangle. Okay, feel free to shimmy, wag your tail, bobble your head, anything that's going to settle you here. And then when you're ready, a halfway lift, hands on blocks. Stretch your thigh bones up and back. Feel the openness of the bottom of your feet, the lengthening of your spine. Full breaths in, full breaths away. Keep your neck nice and neutral and relaxed. And are you enjoying the feelings in your body? You know, the slowness that we're taking here, giving yourself lots of opportunity to feel the stretch in your body, the aliveness in your body, the yielding in your body. And then when you're ready, melt again. Let your torso fall toward the ground. Bend your knees. Interlace your hands at the base of your skull. Draw down toward the ground and in toward your chest. Full back line opening up. And then release that. Drop your seat. Bend your knees a lot. Inhale to stand. So that was a lot of being down. So give yourself an opportunity to settle yourself in a standing posture. You can squeeze to the midline if you need a little blood pressure help. Okay. And then reach the arms up. Lean back if it feels good. Start to feel that chest open. Lift your heart to the day. Kind of make a conscious attempt to just open yourself to whatever the day might hold. So can you welcome any possibility that this day may hold? And let's cactus open your arms and feel a good squeeze in the back of your body. Feel your shoulder blades hug toward the spine. And then exhale and round your chest. Feel the back body puff out a little bit, forearms to touch. Inhale, arms back up. Interlace your fingers, press your palms straight up toward the sky, and a little bit of an arc over to one side. You can take your legs a little wider if you need a little broader base underneath you. Back up, change the interlace of your hands, press your palms up and over to the other side. Release your arms down, interlace your hands behind your back, open up across your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift your chin toward the sky, open up through the front of your throat, and a neutral head, squeeze the shoulder blades, and if you want to bend over, great. For me, with my shoulder, this is just a much better position than me leaning over. So you decide how you want to stretch the fronts of your shoulders. Full breaths here. Relax. And if you haven't already, fold forward and let your back body open up. Soften and surrender your skull. Inhale for a halfway lift, getting a little longer on your spine. Exhale and melt. Again, step your left foot back. Let's come to a lunge. Finding that freedom of your heart, stretching open. Yield your feet. Yield your hands into the blocks lightly. And let's go ahead and bend and straighten the front knee, just feeling your way into a little bit of a flexion in your knee, so your hip flexors open up in the back, and then some extension of your knee so you can feel the hamstrings and the glutes open up. Follow the rhythm of your breathing. We're moving super slow, and let yourself feel into the slowness of your movements. Sometimes when we're trying to dip into the flow and we're trying to dip into the yield, getting a little slowing down can be very helpful. Gives us an opportunity to sense, consciously let go, to let our breath fill and empty. So when you feel ready, ground into your lunge. Let's rise up, crescent lunge. Maybe your arms come up, maybe they come out, maybe they go somewhere else. Feel that extension and length in your side. Open up here, and then let's twist to the right. So ground your feet, drop your shoulders down, open up, feel that twist. Find your breath. And now bring your arms back up to the sky, hands down, back foot comes forward, fold deeply. Notice your body warming. This might be easier forward fold than when we started. Inhale for a halfway lift, getting longer. Exhale, melting again. Step the other foot back. Our right foot's behind us now. Open up across your chest, bending that front knee. All right, feel your yielding. Where are you grounding? Let's open up as we move. Feel your breath guide your movement. Straightening your leg and then bending your leg. Where do you want to breathe in? Where do you want to breathe out? See if you can just follow your natural instincts. Let your body be in charge. See if you can let your mind rest in the flow of your breath. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Very consciously fill up your inhales. Very consciously fully let go of your exhales. Ground yourself, feel your roots, take your time. When you feel ready, we'll lift our arms upward if that's right for your body. Feel that extension and openness. Feel the deep grounding. Press your feet, yield, and then push. So you have this strength that arises from the earth. When you're ready, we'll twist to the left here. Shoulders down, collarbones broad. Hug to the midline with your legs. Feeling into your breath. Just take your posture however you want it to be. And then coming back around, and let's place two hands on the ground and step back to a dog pose. Feeling the beautiful length in your body. Take your feet nice and wide on the mat. And maybe toes turn in, maybe they stay straight, but just notice how broad your base is and how grounding a broad base can be. Let your breath travel deeply into your body. All right, then we'll put our feet back to hip width neutral territory so that we can come forward into a plank and hold ourselves. Feel free to put your knees down if you need to, shoulders away from the ears, collarbones broaden. Feel the wrapping of your core with your strong abdominal muscles. Breathing well. Put our knees down, find the ground. Roll the shoulders a couple times so we feel this beautiful openness, and then find a cobra pose. Open chest, stretching through your abdomen. Exhale, and floating back down. Let's try once more. We're going to stay here, and you can, of course, come into a Sphinx pose instead if you prefer, or any other pose. But just stay for a couple rounds of breath so you can feel the front body lengthen and open up. Come back down. Lying on your belly, move your blocks out of the way so that you have some space. Let's take our left knee and bring it high up toward our armpit and turn and look out at that foot and just feel the length through your other side. And then come back to neutral and repeat it one more time. Turn and look out over that knee. And then back center. Let's turn this into a twist. Take your arm, cross it over, swing open. Imagine yourself in the water, letting that stream kind of flow over you. A full inhale, a full exhale. Enjoy your twist. Let your knee leave the floor. Let your hand touch the floor. Right, swing back around. Bring that other knee high up toward your armpit. Forearms on the ground, torso nice and low, and turn and stretch open to look over that right knee. And then come back to neutral and repeat it one more time. Just feeling that little bit of a side bend that lives here. And then we'll turn this into a twist. Take your arm, cross it over in front of you, and roll onto your back. The back of your right hand touches the ground. Let your knee leave the ground. The head is on the ground. A full breath into your twist. Come back around onto your belly. Bring your arms out in front of you, palms on the ground. A nice wide open up cobra. Maybe your legs are wide too. And then exhale and release. Come up onto all fours. Let your tail swish and sway, go side to side. Maybe a little bit of cat-cow, maybe a little bit of movement in your spine. And then find child's pose again. Settle yourself. Just allow yourself to relax here. Again, feeling that this pose isn't a stop to the next pose, but it's a pose all by itself. Right, let's spread out the hands, curl the toes under, find a dog pose again, and just notice as you come back to these poses that we repeat, how are you feeling different? Can you yield? Can you push off and lengthen and feel the reach? Can you melt through your skull? Can you enjoy the fullness of your breathing? Walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. And then inhale and rise all the way up. Feeling big open heart, maybe reach your arms to the sky. Oh, release of your arms back. Give your hands a little bit of a shake. Give your body a little bit of a shake. Sometimes you don't have to leave the floor, you don't have to jump, just bounce. And the bouncing is really good for our bodies. It's good for our joints, it's good for stimulating some growth of the cushioning in our body, through our spine. It's good for your lymph. Feel yourself here standing. Have a full breath in, and just like we kind of hung out in child's pose, let's hang out in Tadasana. This is a pose often that we feel is a little bit of I think we short change it sometimes. Kind of let it be just a stopgate to the next thing. So let's be here fully. Notice where your body weight is. Can you unlock your knees? Let's rock a little bit onto our toes and rock a little onto our heels and just kind of go back and forth, stimulating some strength in your feet. Just pause. Unlock your knees. Let your breath travel, maybe even hold your low belly so you can feel the breath traveling into the deep low abdomen. Give yourself over to that full deep breath in, full deep breath out. And we're going to take our legs wide on our mat. So as you stretch out and feel that length, nice wide legs, let's bend our knees and kind of find our inner legs here for a moment. Just stretching up, open the inner thighs. Maybe a little bit of rocking from one side to the other so we can feel our yielding and our weight bearing into our feet well. And then come all the way back up to stand. Okay, standing star. Deep breath. We'll find our way down to a goddess so you can kind of trace the energy down with your arms. And as your breathing comes, rising tides. Exhale, dropping down. Again, come into the rhythm of your breathing. Let the energy of your body move with the energy of your breath rhythm. So that doesn't need to be the same pace as anyone else. Just for yourself. Down on the exhale, up on the inhale. More time. And this next time we come down into our exhale, we're going to stay there. So remember our goddess pose. You don't have to go super deep. See what it feels like to just have a self-sustaining place, and maybe just bounce a teeny bit so you can feel your body weight drop and drop. You can put your arms anywhere you want. And then when you're ready to be still, ground in this kind of, whatever the stance looks like, it doesn't matter. However low or high you are, it's all good. You're in a place of self-sustaining. Ground into the four corners of your feet. Feel your chest open up, your collarbones widen. Try to have a stability so that there's a slight posterior tilt happening of your pelvis instead of tipping the pelvic bowl forward. Round into the four corners of your feet. Relax the base of your skull. Yield. Breathe deeply. Standing star. Arms stretch out wide. Let's go a little wider if you need to with your legs. First standing pose, Parsvottanasana. Elbow on your knee. Stretch your arm overhead and feel the beautiful length of this posture. Ground into the feet. Find your yielding again. So we yield so that we can push off and feel the reach and length in our body. Where in your body are you not feeling right now? Can you kind of scan and invite all of you into your awareness? I'm standing up a little straighter. Reach the right arm up in the air for a reverse triangle pose. Feel that extension. And then let's come into triangle pose. Tip forward. Let's bring our hand onto your leg or onto a block. Open up through your body. Shoulders away from the ears. Tail away from your crown, reaching toward your back foot. Feeling that open heart. Lock your knee, your front knee, see if you can prevent that hyperextension that might want to happen. Yeah. And come all the way back up. Okay, pause in between. We'll come to the second side. Same poses. We'll bend our knee, place your elbow or hand on a block, your choice for Parsvottanasana. Maybe your arm stretches overhead, maybe your arm stays at your side. See what feels nice in your body. Yield. Feel the 4 points of each foot. Ground the four corners of your feet and give them a weight into the earth. And once you feel that sinking, push off so that you have energy to reach into the body. Again, is there anywhere that's not home that has checked out a little bit? Can you bring your full self into the fold? Keep the base of your skull relaxed. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Let your palms be at ease. Soften your gaze. Stand up straight. Reverse your triangle pose. Reach that arm up in the air. And then tip your pelvis to the side and let your hand come down to rest on your leg or block. Lightness in your hands. So you're self-supporting with your legs, really, not just bearing all your weight down into your hand. unlock your front knee so that there's a sense of moving from your knee to your big toe and from your outer knee up into your outer hip, moving in two different directions. Open up across your heart, spread your wings, hands spreading apart from each other, shoulders away from the ears. As your shoulders move away from the ears, let your tail move away from your ears. Let everything kind of fall into the flow in that direction. Forward your tail. Up, stand up straight and tall, turn your feet straight again. This time we'll bring our hands down onto the ground or onto blocks, thigh bones move back. Feel that openness across your legs. Breathing well. And turn back toward the front of your mat for a dog pose. Those neutral legs, feel into them, hip width apart. Let's pedal your feet again. So we open up the bottom of your feet and your calves. Feel that spreading of your feet, the grounding of the four corners. Even if your heels don't come anywhere near the floor, root them downward. Feel your thigh bones lift upward. Let's come forward into a plank, holding yourself steady. Turn your torso, your navel toward the right. Face the ground with your chest and face. Back to center. Other side, just feeling that little twist in your body. Back to center. And let's lower ourselves down to the ground. Little shoulder rolls if you like. Any back bend of your choice. Feel that extension in your body, the length in your body, and release to fold. Come back up onto all fours, move around in your spine, and then again, drop into a child's pose. And maybe this time you bring your arms down at your sides. Maybe you prefer to have your arms overhead, whatever feels good, but rest here. How's your breath? Feel your way into the fullness of your inhale, the fullness of your exhale. When you feel ready, we're going to come on to our back. Lie down, put your feet on the ground, and we're going to do a bridge pose. And you can do this passively with a block underneath your pelvis if you'd like, or two blocks under your pelvis, or you can do it very actively. Whatever is your feeling for today. Okay, we're going to rock onto the tops of our shoulders, open across our chest, ground into the four corners of your feet. Full belly breaths. Full inhale, a full exhale. All right, now if you're active, you can come back down onto the ground and find yourself a block. And remember, you can have the block on the low height, middle height, or if you want to, you can stack two blocks, one on top of the other. Just don't rest on the corner of a block. All right, so we're gonna stay here in a supported bridge for a little bit. So find a place that's a happy place for your body. And you can take your arms down at your sides, shoulders open, or maybe you'd rather have your arms in a different position, whatever feels good. Opening up across our chest, feeling the fullness of your breath in, the completeness of your breath out. And when you feel ready, we're going to turn this into the leg up the wall variation. So first, and you can change the block's heights if you want. You can be on a lower block or a higher. But first, just draw your knees toward your chest. A little bit of traction for your spine. And then we'll lift our legs up in the air. So you can be on one block or two, whatever height you want. A full breath, and just see if you can feel this return. You know, yielding and flow don't necessarily have to be something that we have to work. It, you know, part of the work is that yielding and surrendering, returning. So, what does it feel like right now to have all of the lymph and blood in your legs going with gravity toward the ground instead of their usual uh, change? You know, when we stand up, this is in opposition to what we're doing right now. So, notice the change. Close your eyes and feel into the fluids in your legs moving away from your feet. Go ahead and put our feet down, get off the block, rest on the ground. Just like we took moments to feel child's pose, let's take a moment to feel our body on the ground. So you can straighten your legs if you'd like, or keep your feet on the floor. Let your head drop down. Feel that you are connected to the ground. I'm going to repeat the twist we did in the beginning. So hips over to the right a couple of inches. Pick up your knees and drop them to the left. And feel yourself twist open here, turning your head to the right. Grab onto your knees with your left hand. You can use a block under your knees if you need. Let the twist travel from your eyes all the way down to your knees. Coming back up to center. Let's lift our pelvis up and shake. Shake your hips, shake your spine a little bit, and then put your pelvis back down. We're going to lift our hips up, drop them over to the left. Knees come up and drop right. Twist to the left with your head. Gaze turns as well. Full deep inhale. Complete deep exhale. Go ahead and come back onto our back, feet on the ground. One more time, lift your hips, give them a little shake. Pelvis back down. We're going to roll over onto our right side. Put your block under your head if you need a little pillow. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to stretch our quad here. So grab onto the front of your ankle and let your quad open. So feeling that femur bone draw down away from the pelvis and back. Feel the pelvis anchor the posture. So tailbone, posterior tilt of the pelvis fit. So pubic bone up, tailbone down. Notice if other parts of your body are trying to do this pose. Relax your head and your shoulders. Relax your arm on the ground and your leg on the ground. Breathe deeply. Relax and pause here on your side for a moment. And then we're going to come over to the other side. You can just roll over to your side, other side. So we'll be lying on our left. Block underneath your head if you need it. Bend your knees, bend your hips. Reach and grab the front of your right ankle and stretch that quad. Knee descends away from your crown. And feel your whole femur bone draw back. Stabilize with your pelvis. So we're not letting our torso fall. We're not letting our belly fall forward or our ribs fall fall forward. We're integrating our ribs. We're feeling the pelvis stabilize. Tailbone toward the knees, pubic bone toward the belly. Open up through all those fibers. See if you can catch every fiber of your quads. And relax that for a moment. Pause. Just lie on your side for a moment. Relax and receive what you just did. Breathing deeply. All right, we're going to come on to our back one more time. Now you can do pigeon pose, reverse pigeon pose, or you can be on your back and cross one thigh over the other thigh and draw your knees to your chest. So a hip stretch, however that wants to show up in your body. Okay, so you always have lots of choices when it comes to every posture, but especially ones that are involve opening up your hip like this. There's a lot of vulnerability here, so let's be very mindful of our joints, our knees, our hips, our SI joints. So feel that extension of your spine. If you're on your back, we're resting the head. If you're on your front, we're resting the forehead. So the hips are squaring up, the sit bones are widening. Breath is coming in deep and full. What is the feeling tone of your body right now? Are you able to surrender, or is it a little bit of a resistance? Can you let yourself be in that stream of water again? Can you let yourself be in the breath? Out of the pose, however that means, you could just undo your legs and put them flat on the ground, rest in neutral for a moment, no matter what you're doing. Take a moment to find neutral territory. A full breath. When you're ready, we'll change to the other side. How many times have you kind of whipped through yoga poses or any kind of stretches where you just quick touch something and then move away? Sometimes when we slow our practice down, it's so helpful to ground us, to bring us into present moment, to let us slip into the stream, to have an opportunity, time for yielding and being aware of breath. So give yourself over to this right now. What are you feeling? What can you let go of? How is your breath? Feel ready for a change. Slowly allow yourself to come out of this pose and We're gonna find our way into Supta Baddha Konasana, but you might need something in between, like just lying on your back with your knees in, or a child's pose, or something neutral. And then remember with Supta Baddha Konasana, there's so many different ways about going about this. You can do very simply, just lying on the ground with a block underneath each knee. You can get a lot more props than this. So kind of find the way you want to be in the pose today. Could be, you know, on a bolster or some blankets behind you. You could be in heart bench with the blocks kind of underneath your spine and head, and then stick pillows or blankets under your knees. So many ways about getting into this pose. The important thing is to make sure that your hips don't feel strain at all in this posture, and that your body really truly feels like it's in a nest that can rest. So it's not about any one part of you having a big sensation of stretch, but really just a sense of relaxation where we can fall into openness and vulnerability and trust. So once you get into the position that you want to be in, it's all about the flow. So first, just feel yourself move inside your breath. And on the exhales, let yourself surrender like you're in water, that you're floating in warm water that's moving. Maybe you are moving, floating, whatever feels safe and good, where you get that sense of being in the flow. Imagine the sound of running water around you. Whenever you're ready to transition to Shavasana, you can straighten your legs or change your position, and you don't have to, you can stay right where you are. now it's your opportunity to let your whole body yield to the ground. Good breathing. And as you fill yourself with a big full breath and empty fullness of your breath, let it be one of renewal, that you can emerge from your yoga practice with a renewed state of presence and the ability to go with the flow. Find movement coming onto your side. Yourself upright. Finding a comfortable seat. Just take a moment to feel yourself, your posture, your presence, your breath. Have you slowed down enough in your practice? Is your nervous system in a good state? Are you present? Together.
Let's offer the gifts of our practice, sending forth your energy, the sense of yielding and presence and surrender. Can we offer these gifts to another? Namaste. Thank you, everyone.